Did you ever wonder if the way you think, feel, and act is the only normal way? We often assume our social rules are universal. But what if I told you there are communities out there whose daily lives would completely challenge your idea of what it means to be human? Today, we're going on a journey to the far corners of the world, to places where environment and isolation have sculpted truly unique minds and societies. We'll explore how people resolve conflicts without lawyers or courts, raise children in ways that might seem shocking, connect with each other through rituals that look like they're from another planet. This isn't just about strange customs. It's a deep dive into the incredible adaptability of the human brain and the diverse ways we find meaning, happiness, and order in our lives. So get ready to have your perspective shifted because we're about to see just how different normal can be. Let's start with a concept that feels fundamental to most of us: anger. What do you do when you get angry? Yell? Slam a door? No, for the U2 Inuit in the Canadian Arctic. Expressing anger is almost taboo. It's seen as childish and disruptive to the harmony of the group, which is essential for survival in such a harsh environment. Instead of confrontation, they practice a form of emotional control that is just astonishing. They might simply walk away, remain silent, or use subtle, indirect humor to diffuse tension. Anthropologist Jean Briggs, who lived with them, found this incredibly difficult to adapt to. Her own occasional frustrations were met with social ostracism. For the UT2, emotional regulation isn't a self-help goal. It's a critical survival skill woven into the fabric of their society. Their environment, demanding absolute cooperation, has literally shaped their emotional landscape. This makes you wonder, how much of our own emotional expression is a product of our relatively safe, individualistic world? Now, let's travel south to the Amazon rainforest to meet the Parahu people. Their culture challenges some of our most basic assumptions about language and thought. Famously studied by linguist Daniel Everett, the Parahu language has no words for numbers, no specific color terms, and no complex sentence structures that allow for embedding clauses. They live entirely in the here and now. Their conversations are about immediate, observable experiences. There's no talk of ancient history or long-term future plans. They don't have creation myths that stretch back generations. This immediacy of experience principle governs their entire worldview. If you can't see it, or if someone you know hasn't seen it, it's not really worth talking about. Imagine a life without worrying about next year's bills or dwelling on a mistake you made 10 years ago. For the Parahu, this isn't a mindfulness practice, it's just reality. Their environment provides for their immediate needs, so their psychology has evolved to focus exclusively on the present. What about parenting? Many Western cultures emphasize constant supervision and structured play for children. But in the Martu community of the Australian Western Desert, things look very different. From a very young age, children are given a remarkable amount of autonomy. You might see a toddler safely wielding a small knife, or a group of young kids wandering far from the camp, exploring the vast desert on their own. This isn't neglect, it's a deliberate cultural practice. The Martu believe that children learn best through direct experience, observation, and self-directed play. Their environment is their classroom. They learn to track animals, find water, and understand the rhythms of the land, not from a book, but by doing it themselves. This fosters incredible independence, resilience, and a deep, intuitive connection to their country. It's a powerful reminder that our helicopter parenting norms are just one option among many, shaped by our own society's fears and priorities. Conflict resolution is another area where human ingenuity shines. In many societies, we rely on a formal legal system. But what do you do when there are no courts or police? The Tsimshian people of the Pacific Northwest developed a fascinating solution: the potlatch. A potlatch is a huge, elaborate feast where a chief or host would give away or even destroy enormous quantities of wealth blankets, canoes, food, you name it. It might seem incredibly wasteful, but it served a critical social function. Potlatches were used to settle disputes over status, territory, or succession. By demonstrating their capacity to accumulate and give away vast resources, a chief could validate their claims and shame their rivals into submission, all without a single drop of blood being shed. It was a form of economic and social warfare, a way to fight with wealth instead of weapons. It was the ultimate power move, proving your legitimacy by showing you could afford to be unbelievably generous. Let's also look at the concept of truth. For us, A statement is either true or false. But for the Waorani people of the Ecuadorian Amazon, truth is a bit more flexible. Their language reflects a deep skepticism about knowledge that isn't personally experienced. They have different grammatical markers to indicate whether they saw something with their own eyes, heard it from someone else, or are just guessing. This means that a statement's truthfulness is directly tied to the source of the information. They are constantly evaluating the reliability of what they hear. This makes perfect sense in a dense jungle environment, where a misplaced rumor about where to find food or the location of a predator could have serious consequences. Their language itself is a tool for survival, forcing a level of critical thinking about information that we often take for granted in our world of fake news. Finally, consider the concept of self. In the West, we often see ourselves as independent individuals, defined by our personal achievements and unique personalities. But for many traditional Japanese communities, particularly in rural areas, the self is understood primarily in relation to the group. The concept of uchisoro, which means inside-outside, is key. Your behavior, your language, and even your obligations change dramatically, depending on whether you are dealing with someone from your in-group, your family, your company, your village, or an outsider. Harmony within the group, or wa, is paramount. Personal desires are often subordinated to the needs of the collective. This isn't about a lack of individuality, but rather a different definition of it, one where identity is found through belonging and fulfilling one's role within a larger social web. From the emotional control of the UTQ to the here and now life of the Parahu, the autonomous children of the Martu, and the complex social fabric of these other communities, we see a stunning tapestry of human adaptation. These aren't primitive or backward societies. They are highly sophisticated systems of behavior, psychology, and social organization, perfectly tuned to their unique circumstances. Exploring them does more than just satisfy our curiosity. It holds up a mirror to our own way of life. It forces us to ask why we do the things we do, and to realize that many of the truths we hold to be self-evident are, in fact, just one cultural story among thousands. The diversity of the human mind is our species' greatest asset, and by understanding it, we can gain a much richer, more compassionate perspective on the world and our place in it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you found these stories as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the incredible world of human culture. What was the most surprising behavior for you? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.